Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Deluxe Class Shockwave from the Transformers Earthspark line from Hasbro. Originally I was not going to pick up this figure for two reasons. One, it is just a repaint of the Cyberverse Deluxe Class Shockwave that we got, I guess 2 years ago at this point, however long ago that was, feels like forever ago. And so it wasn't really different enough for me to warrant the purchase. And he does come with a Build-A-Figure piece here for Mandroid, but he comes with an alternate arm. So technically you don't have to pick this one up if you don't want to, and you can still get a full Build-A-Figure. He'll just have one normal human arm instead of two robot arms. This is kind of like an alternative arm possibility for the Build-A-Figure. So due to all that, I really wasn't going to pick this one up. But it was part of the Hasbro Days, Power Days sale, and so it was 35% off, and I thought, it's a nice repaint, I guess I'll go ahead and grab it. I think it's kind of interesting. So we have this artwork here of Shockwave, which is what I'm assuming he looks like in the show. I have not been able to watch Season 2 yet, unfortunately. But it's not exactly what the toy looks like. I guess they just figured he's only in an episode or two. This is close enough. We'll just repaint the Cyberverse one and pop it out there again. So here we are. Over on this side, we kind of have that standard group shot for Earthspark that's on the side of the packaging for all of these. And then over here, we have a picture of the Build-A-Figure, Dr. Meridian Mandroid. Not really anything going on the bottom here. Spinning it around to the back, we get some product shots of the robot mode and the vehicle mode. And that's kind of the dead giveaway right away that it's just the repaint of the Cyberverse figure, because that like weird crawler alt mode I still think is terrible. I don't know why they don't just make him a tank or something, but here we are. And then this will leave us with just Grimlock and Nightshade as the last two yet to be released, although we've started to see pictures of them in packaging crop up online. So fingers crossed they will be coming soon, because I'm very excited for both of them. One, both of those figures look great, and also just to finally complete this guy, because I've just got a pile of parts lying around at this point, and, you know, it's kind of annoying. So that's pretty much it. Oh, I guess up top there's a group shot up here as well, pretty generic. So I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So here is Shockwave out of the packaging. I do like the darker purple. I think that works a little bit better for this mold. Unfortunately, I don't have the Cyberverse one handy to do a direct comparison. I really don't know where that is at this point. But I'll pop a pic in here real quick. So you can see with the Cyberverse one, it was a lighter shade of purple, and it had the like hot pink highlight color for the chest and the shoulders especially. And then this one here has the yellow chest and then just kind of like the black highlights. So I kind of like the darker color scheme, especially with that pop of yellow, which really brightens it up. So overall, I do think I like this color scheme a little bit better for him, but it's just the same figure over again. He even has the same blaster, nothing new there. Doesn't have the blast effect, and I would assume that's because we have the Build-A-Figure piece here, which is nothing really special. Just cast in black plastic, but it has some nice gold paint applied. There is just this little hinge here in the shoulder, and that's it. There's no articulation otherwise to speak of. Bicep, elbow, wrist, nothing like that. Just really the gold paint. But, you know, it looks alright. And I'll be interested to see how it functions once we actually have something to peg it into. But it's going to be a minute before we get that guy. But anyway, back to Shockwave here. So, again, it's the figure that you know. There's not really anything new to go over really that much. I did want to say that in the packaging it is mistransformed, so if I lift this section up here, this little piece is hanging out the back like this in the packaging, and it is meant to flip inside. So I'm not really sure why they did it that way, considering it seems more condensed and would be easier to ship this way, but maybe they wanted to use it to kind of keep it in place because they have little cutout holes for those pieces. Just a guess, I don't know. Also, these pieces are flipped up in the packaging, and I don't know if this is deliberate or not. I feel like it's they're mistransforming it a little bit to try to give it a bit of a different look. Like maybe they can trick you into thinking it's not just the same mold again, or even like the packaging showed that animation I pointed out earlier where it looked like he had little wings. So I'm wondering if they're like, hey, do something like this and you can pretend they're the little wings on the back and now it looks different. But it doesn't really. So I mean, if you really want to leave these up or at a 45-degree angle or something to give him a subtly different look, you could totally do that, but you're supposed to flip them down like this. That's the official transformation, and you have to move the backpack for this one because of the rubber hose here. I mean, the rubber hose is fine. It's very kind of form-fitted into this pose, so you can't really do much with it. If you don't like it, you can just take it off. You can just go ahead, slide this out of here, and then you can actually just pull this out of there. And if you don't really like that getting in the way, you can just leave them like this, and then he still kind of has the gun hand, and then he's holding it. I don't really know why he needs two guns, honestly, but he is packing. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this gun out of this hand for now. It's nicely molded. It's the same gun from the Cyberverse release. A little bit of paint there in the center. But it's a cool looking gun. I like it. You could always give it to somebody else if you think Shockwave doesn't need it. And there's a little blast effect port here and on here as well. So if you have blast effects from some other release, you could go ahead and pop them on here. But yeah, it's just Shockwave again, not really anything too special. Head can swivel from side to side. You do have some movement here in the ears, but that's mostly for transformation. You can see there's a ball joint here in the shoulder, so it does go pretty far out to the side, which I appreciate. It can move all the way around like so. We have a bicep swivel. Be a little careful because it's just a mushroom peg, but mine just fell out from transforming it. It just slides right back in if you need to, but... So you got the bicep swivel there, you got 90 degrees in the elbow, and then for this arm, because he's holding this, not really anything there, but over here, you have a wrist swivel as well. And again, if you don't even like this, and it's going to be difficult to pop this out. Unfortunately, he's just holding it, but because of the way the wrist is connected to this top piece, when you try to lift it out of his hand, it just brings this whole assembly up. But if you want, is there somewhere I could store this on the back? Not really. You can store the gun on the back, though. That just pegs in right there. Or if you prefer, you can swivel around the other side, but you have some storage for that gun. Unfortunately, I wish you could kind of peg this into the side or even just peg it onto the back, because that's kind of a cool look. But I guess in robot mode, you want him to wield it more often than not. I'm going to leave it off for now because we have to take it off anyway for transformation. You have a waist swivel right here. These little skirts on the side can flip up to give you a little bit of range of motion, so you can kick pretty far out to the side. You can kick pretty far forward, kick pretty far back. So that's just a hinge and a swivel there. You do have a thigh swivel right above the knee, and then you have pretty good articulation in the knee, over 90 there. You do have an ankle tilt, and then these can move a little bit front to back. Not really much going on there. But again, you've seen all this before on the Cyberverse Deluxe. It is the same toy. The articulation is nothing new, but in case you're unfamiliar with it from the first time. I do really like this color scheme, though. I will say the darker purple I've always thought suits Shockwave. Not as dark as, say, the original toy, which was like super dark. The little bit lighter purple from the show, but the one from Cyberverse was even lighter than that. So this is kind of a nice middle ground. I do like this shade of purple here. But yeah, it's Shockwave. Not really too much to say. He looks pretty good. He's got pretty decent articulation. He's got a few accessories. Let's go ahead and get into his transformation. So I don't know why they chose this alt mode for Shockwave here. It's really just kind of like he's trying to do the limbo and he just fell backwards and he's, crawling on all fours. It's kind of ridiculous. But we're going to start by flipping up this panel here, flip out these pieces, flip the fist inside, close that up, and then just do that. That's like 6 steps in the directions. I'm not even kidding. It's kind of ridiculous because there's not really any steps here. There's not much to tell. So there you go. Then you're going to kind of just bring the arms up and then rotate them 180 degrees at the bicep. And again, when you're rotating them, the mushroom peg might get a little close to the edge. Just kind of push it back in. But you can see that it's a little hollow, and it's a bummer that the hollow parts are out to the side in the vehicle mode. But, I guess it's better than in the robot mode. So you're going to push the ears all the way back as far as you can. It might feel like they go a little bit past where they're supposed to, but you want to make sure you do that. I had some trouble with this part, I'm not going to lie. This unhooks this chest piece here, and you have to push it over the head, and it almost feels like there's no way it's going to happen. I mean, when you look at this, it just kind of bonks right into his forehead, but you kind of just have to keep going. There's kind of a little notch here for the notch on his head, and you kind of just have to push past it, and it does eventually get there. It feels like it shouldn't, but it does. Then you're going to flip these pieces down like so. You kind of might have to move the arms out to the side, and then you're going to push this down closer to the body like that. So that way it's going to kind of fill in those little gaps there. Then you're just going to leave these out to the side because those are his like front crab leg things. You're going to spin it around at the waist 180 degrees, and then you're going to just bend the knees. And there you go. That's it. I guess you can kind of angle these a little bit to kind of give it some, so that they all kind of sit flat. But yeah, this is pretty much it. The last step is just to take the backpack and rotate that down like that. And then you can take this piece and peg it in here. You can decide if you want to attach the cable or not. You know, it would have to kind of... The thing is, because it's so, like, formed into this configuration, if you put it back on, it kind of has to sit in the front. The directions say, like, have it go around the back, but it doesn't really want to do that, so I just take it off. And then you can take the gun and put that in over here on the side like that. And that's pretty much it. So it literally just looks like he kind of fell backwards and then put a gun on his butt. Yeah. I wasn't that impressed with this back in Cyberverse. I'm still not that impressed with it. I would much rather, like, I understand they can't make him transform into a gun anymore. I totally get that. But just turn him into a tank then or something. I don't know. This is just like a weird crab mode thing. It's weird. I guess they were trying to make him like... I think in Cyberverse it kind of made more sense because didn't he have like a legion of himself, and it was almost like he was the Insecticons and he was crawling over everywhere. I did not see his episode from Earthspark, so I don't know if it's a similar situation. I don't even know if he transforms in the episode. So if you know, feel free to tell me in the comments. I'd like to know. But yeah, it's not a great transformation. It wasn't then. It's still not. There's not really much they could do with it. I wish they had given us a new mold, but they went for the cheesy repaint route. It is a nice repaint, but this alt mode is still kind of stupid. So that's pretty much going to do it for this guy. Is he a must-need for your collection? It really just depends on if you have the Cyberverse one already and kind of which color scheme you prefer. I do think it's a really nice repaint, and the robot mode is good. He looks good in robot mode. He's got good articulation. I think he looks really sharp. But that alt mode is just kind of an embarrassment, honestly. You just kind of swivel most of his parts 180 degrees and then let him fall over. That's really the entire transformation. There's not much going on with it. So I think if you have the Cyberverse already, you know, you probably can just skip this one unless you really, really want the Build-A-Figure piece, which again, looks okay, but doesn't have any articulation or anything. I'm really interested to see what this guy's going to look like when we finally can put him together. This one's definitely a your mileage will vary situation. I think it's a nice looking repaint, and if you can find it on clearance or something for $10 or less, you know, go for it. But if you're perfectly happy with the Cyberverse one you have and you don't care at all about the Build-A-Figure piece, you could probably skip this one. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.